In the winter of 1959, 9 university students died mysteriously while hiking in the rural mountains located in former Soviet Union. Details never leaked out to the public until well after the fall of the Iron Curtain due to the unusual circumstances contained in the report. In the bodies of the hikers were not far found from their camp, which had been nearly destroyed. Investigators followed the footprints what looked to be a small site of bonfire, and the first 2 bodies, inexplicably, were clad only in their underwear, despite the bitter Russian winter. It was as if some force drove them to their camp before they could even dress. 3 more were found in another location, looking as if they were trying to return their doomed camp after their companions succumbed to hypothermia. None of the bodies were dressed for winter, some even without shoes, others with only strips of cloth on their feet torn from the clothing they already dead. If the circumstances were unusual, the autopsy proved to be completely bizarre. One of the students had major fractures to his skull, and the other had 2 of their ribs completely smashed. No external wounds or trauma were found. Medical experts compared the injuries to a high-speed car crash, stating it would be impossible for another human being to create injuries of their type without the external wound. Another camper, a young woman, had her tongue missing. While investigators initially suspected foul play, no footprints were found near any of the bodies other than the students' own. Adding to the mystery, the bodies were all shown to have high levels of radioactive contamination. 9 years after the incident in the rural mountains, another group of hikers were found dead, this time in the Caucasus. The incident occurred in late summer this time. However, many similarities were present. The hikers' campsite was found destroyed, and the campers were forced to flee with little to no provisions. Rather than being spread out, all the bodies were found within dozens of yards from each other in a nearby clearing. The scene was described as horrifying by police. The bodies were positioned as if thrown at great speed. They had postured as if the bones had been smashed to splinters. The results of the medical investigation were immediately sealed by the Soviet government. Again, each of the 6 bodies presented high doses of radiation. Despite a normal background radiation level near the site of deaths, during autopsy, the medical examiner discovered that the initial description of the hikers' bones being smashed was incorrect. Their entire skeletal structures were missing, despite having no external wounding whatsoever. High levels of calcium, where also nutrients were found in their blood surrounding the tissues. It was as if something had somehow rapidly liquefied the victims' bones. Crime scene photos have also revealed the clearing of the bodies were found was not just natural. Topographic maps were only taken months before shown in the area to be a lush forest. Entire trees were smashed into splinters in a path more than 20 meters wide and over 200-meter area. Despite the Soviet crackdown on all the information, it eventually leaked out. All such information does, leading occult experts to have gathered all the available facts and came to a single terrifying conclusion. No man or man-made device could have acted such a deliberate force or in the ways uncovered. Of all the research available, only one entity could have been responsible. Something that was not meant for our Earth. Something that struck fear into the heart of a certain insane Arab.